Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
Raise your hand if you're excited about feeling older faster than you should. No takers? Yeah, didn't think so. Ongoing pain makes you feel older than you are. But here's the good news. QC Kinetic patients here in Dayton are getting relief, feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen in an operating room. The QC Kinetic medical professionals use the latest regenerative treatments backed by real science, treatments that take the tiny, powerful healing tools inside your body, concentrate them right where you need relief. That's how Mike is training for a marathon instead of giving up running. Patrick's golf game is on fire again. Kathy walked around Disney with her grandkids. No pain. All real QC Kinetic patients. The sooner you start treatment, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. Because no one signs up for feeling older faster. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetic regenerative treatments. Your visit and consultation is free. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Hustler Mowers are here to work, known for their reliability, quality, and speed. They're as hardworking as you are, sun up to sundown. Whether you're a homeowner who takes pride in their lawn or a landscaper whose reputation rides on quality equipment that won't let you down, Hustler Church has a wide selection of mowers ready to tackle any job. Come see us today at Small Engine Service Pros at 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle to shop our lineup of Hustler mowers today. Visit us online at SESPros.com.
You want hot takes? No, I'm not going to apologize to Ryan Day. Everything we said about Ryan Day up into the playoffs was true.
Not bad. Come on, Kenner. You can do better than that.
To be fair, of all the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, Joe Burrow is the least accomplished.
Getting better.
1,000,000%. I 1,000,000% believe that the Dayton Flyers are afraid of the Wright State Raiders. That's why they come up with every excuse in the book not to play them.
There it is. The hottest take of them all. It's the Justin Kenner Show, presented by Frickers, live on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It's the Justin Kenner Show here on a Tuesday, 937-518-1410. That's the number that you can call or text to jump in on the conversation. I'm Justin Kenner again. Happy Tuesday. The Brendan Sorsby storyline, it just continues to, there's just so many layers to it, and a new layer was added today. It was kind of fascinating to see, what kind of story is the Brendan Sorsby story? Is it a college sports story? Is it an NFL story? Is it an isolated story? Like, what the hell? Like, how do we view the Brendan Sorsby storyline and all the drama that's going on with it? Because just when I thought that we were kind of done with it, I thought we'd pick up with the Sorsby conversation once the supplemental draft arrived. Late last week, they said it would be about a month before the NFL would even hold the supplemental draft, as usually they hold it, a little bit before training camp officially kicks off. Well, all of that got thrown out the window as the news earlier today came out that there will be no 2026 supplemental draft. Brendan Sorsby's NFL path to the NFL just took an immediate halt. All right. Sorsby will not play in the NFL this upcoming season as the NFL and the league has elected not to hold a supplemental draft. Now, the article on ESPN and Pete Thamel, along with Adam Schefter, reporting that the NFL's decision came down to its right to decide whether to hold a supplemental draft or not. The collective bargaining agreement allows the NFL to decide if they want to hold a supplemental draft or not. And as one league official said, they believe it would ultimately become a distraction to teams as they begin training camps. And there's so many different views and opinions on this out there. I mean, there's some that believe that this was the NFL's way of protecting teams from themselves, because winning clouds so much judgment with athletics teams, with sports teams. I mean, if you look at Cleveland's desire to get a franchise quarterback, they completely, I don't want to say ignored, some will say they completely ignored, but they were able to compartmentalize. NFL teams, NBA teams, Major League Baseball, professional sports, hell, even in any cutthroat line of business out there, everyone knows how to compartmentalize when it comes down to the debate of is the juice worth the squeeze, right? And some teams, and I've always said this before, right or wrong in sports, are you good enough to deal with the noise? Deshaun Watson was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL when he played a year and a half prior to joining Cleveland. The Browns said there's going to be a lot of noise, but the only thing that drowns out the noise is winning. Well, the problem is there wasn't a whole lot of winning, and he stunk. I'm not definitely not diving into the political side of anything, but Colin Kaepernick, I just don't think Colin Kaepernick was not. I mean, he just wasn't a good enough quarterback for a team to go and pursue, because I don't think he was good enough to deal with the noise. If Colin Kaepernick, who took a stand for what he believed in, an NFL team would have taken a chance on him had he been a guy. If there was an NFL team out there that truly thought that they were a Colin Kaepernick away from winning a Super Bowl, I think that there's multiple teams out there that would have taken a chance on it. I just don't think that he was good enough for teams to deal with the noise that would come with adding him to your roster. Tim Tebow was one of those. There's no controversy with Tim Tebow. It was just a lot of noise with Tim Tebow. If you had, was Tim Tebow good enough to deal with all the distraction, with all the noise that he brings to a roster? No. Hell, the guy couldn't even, I think it was a couple years. Oh, it was the year Urban Meyer took over Jacksonville. The guy couldn't even compete in training camp for a tight end spot without people losing their dang minds, right? People flipped their lid when it came to Tim Tebow just trying out to be a tight end in the NFL to play for Urban Meyer in Jacksonville. People lost their minds about that. He was such a polarizing figure. He wasn't good enough to deal with all the noise. And, that's the big thing. I'm looking at Shedeur Sanders right now. He's a distraction. And right or wrong, he is almost a distraction, because Shedeur Sanders is one of those where I feel like he has to be the starter if he's on your roster. If he's not the starter, there's a lot of noise that comes with Shedeur Sanders. Is he talented enough to deal with the noise? I don't think that he is. So Brendan Sorsby is one of those where not a lot of people have paid attention to Brendan Sorsby. That's why, had he been able to play at Texas Tech on such a big, massive stage, because there was a lot of expectations for Texas Tech, still are, he would have played in so many big games that he really would have had a chance to be a household name by the time we arrived to next April's draft. But now Sorsby's name, the only reason we all know Sorsby's name is for all the wrong reasons. None of them football related, or at least on-field football related. And the crazy thing is, there's enough scouts out there that believe that he is talented enough to where there would be some teams that would be willing to deal with the noise. And I think that's kind of what this comes down to. Is he worth the noise? And I think that the NFL, I think that there are enough teams telling you that, yes, he is worth the noise. And that's why the NFL is stepping in and not letting them make this mistake. Okay. Albert Breer tweeted this earlier today. I can't remember the NFL ever denying a player entry to the supplemental draft. He talks about the fact that they've let guys in who were ruled ineligible because of drugs. Example, Josh Gordon. NCAA rule breaking. Example, Ohio State's Terrell Pryor. And of course, grades, Ahmad Brooks, over and over. Clearly, the NFL is drawing a line here. This shouldn't be that surprising that a player that spent over there was over $90,000 worth of wagers that he placed throughout his time in college. Some of those wagers he placed were on his team. And there is just certain things that, whether it's right or wrong, there's some people are saying, oh, well, the NFL's fine if, with domestic violence, and they're fine with this, they're fine with that. I'm not saying that the league is fine with any of those things, but what they're not fine with, and it's very obvious, is this one right here. Just like Major League Baseball, they've overlooked a lot of, character issues with some players throughout its history. But the one thing that they were never, ever going to overlook was Pete Rose and what he did when it came to sports betting. So shouldn't be that surprising. I mean, trying to compare the NFL, letting Josh Gordon play and letting Terrell Pryor play. I mean, talking about the fact, I can't believe they let Terrell Pryor play. Yes, tattoos. Tattoos is why they should have not allowed him to join the NFL. I think this is a little different than that. I think that the Josh Gordon thing, yes, drugs, weed, Weed now is not what it was a couple years ago, a decade ago, as far as the perception of it by any means. But, it is what it is. But I find this whole storyline fascinating. Brendan Sorsby, is he worth the noise? And I think this was the NFL's way of saying, you know what, we're going to protect these teams from themselves. We are not going to sit here because the next layer is the supplemental draft. He gets added to a roster. My goodness. That's all anybody's going to talk about. And I think that's a bad look for the NFL. There's a lot of things that players have done off the field that have been a bad look for the NFL. But this one is a player that wagered over $90,000 worth of bets throughout his time in college, some of those on his team. And now there's going to be so many people kind of looking over at him throughout practice. I don't even know how, if you're his teammate, you step on the practice field, that they look at him and not question everything. And his attorney's threatening to sue every single thing that lives. He's just becoming more and more unlikable at this point. And you know what? I'm kind of glad that the NFL protected the Browns from themselves. I'm glad that the NFL protected a lot of teams from themselves. Who knows if there's going to be some lawsuit out there that overturns this decision, but the NFL is standing by their right to do so, because they have the right to hold a supplemental draft or not hold it based on the agreement within the CBA that the Players Association agreed to. The fact that, it might be a twist on some of the language a little bit. I don't think the Players Association ever thought that the league would just not hold one or just not allow someone to enter the league, but a little bit of different territory here. But I don't think we've ever seen a player with this big of a rap sheet, if you will, as far as his tendency to place a wager or $2,090 to be exact. But it's besides the point. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show here on a Tuesday. Elly De La Cruz is back. What does that mean for the Cincinnati Reds, who, well, very competitive game last night, a very good game, low scoring game in Cincinnati against Milwaukee. But no matter how different the Reds look or how good they look, the result is the same. And the results continue to be glaring as the Reds continue to struggle in NL Central play. We'll talk about all of that and more when we come back. Plus, we'll dive back into the NFL college football coming up later on in the show as well. 937-518-1410, the Justin Kinner Show, presented by Frickers. Frickers, your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. We'll be right back.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
So to put Giannis in that category, I don't think that's fair to Giannis. And
saving money on everything you need at Menards. Your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, and it enhances the appearance of your home's exterior. Owens Corning Duration Shingles offer ultimate protection. Choose from 26 stylish colors and transform your home today. Shop our selection of roofing products on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Upgrade to a new quality bath remodel in less time with minimal inconvenience and for less money with Bath Creations in as little as 2 days. We do it right. There are a lot of others boasting about bath remodels these days. Well, Bath Creations' expert craftsmanship and customer service speaks for itself. Plus, all first responders, veterans, and active military will save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit our beautiful showroom at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton or at mybathcreations.com and upgrade your new bath today.
Swing by Frickers today and treat yourself to our irresistible ribs and chunks special. Enjoy tender, saucy ribs grilled to perfection, paired with your choice of frickin' chicken chunks, boneless wings, or traditional wings, plus homemade slaw, your favorite side, and a roll, all for just $16.99. Don't forget, kids eat free all day, every day at Frickers. So bring the whole family for great food, family fun, and all the sports action you crave. At your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Buy gold and put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control, but there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge against inflation. Plus, in honor of America 250, Birch Gold is going to give you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 2nd. Text the word SECURE to the number 989898 to get a free info kit from Birch Gold and claim eligibility for this limited time offer. Again, text the word SECURE to 989898 today.
Do you have travel plans in the future? Are you TSA pre-checked? Hi, I'm Shannon Crabtree, representing Mike Foley's Montgomery County Clerk of Court's office. I'm reminding you that you can get TSA pre-checked as well as update your passport at our convenient auto title location inside the Montgomery County Administration Building lobby.
Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Please visit gettsaprecheckednow.com to schedule your TSA appointment at 451 West 3rd Street in downtown Dayton. We do take walk-ins, but priority goes to appointments.
It's another convenient service of your Clerk of Courts, Mike Foley.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
Exactly, Stephen A. He's been here for 10 years, and we're still trying to figure him out. The Justin Kenner Show, weekdays at 3 p.m., right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Now, back to the Justin Kenner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
2-1 the final last night in extras. The Brewers continue their dominance over the Cincinnati Reds in, the last decade. And the Reds' struggles against the NL Central, that just continues to get worse and worse and worse. I mean, look, it's one of those things, too. Like, that was just a heartbreaking loss last night. I mean, the pitching for the Reds was phenomenal. But just some mistakes late in that game. Once extras come around, it's like, I do feel like because the Reds, who, by the way, it's so funny, the Reds were so good in the month of April. One reason that the Reds did have 20 wins at the end of April, one reason that the Reds were in first place at the end of April, yes, it was the wins, but it was the types of wins that they had. They were winning so many one-run and extra inning games. I mean, they were doing all the little things correct. And it's like since April ended, all of May and June, the wheels have fallen off, and anything that can go wrong in extras will go wrong. The Reds, it's almost if the Reds can't get out of the ninth inning, if they can't win in 9, they're not going to win a game. And that's the unfortunate part, or at least that's the way things have kind of unraveled for the Reds as of late. I mean, last night, I thought they played phenomenal. I mean, their pitching last night was fantastic. I mean, what a performance from Brady Singer last night. I mean, he throws 106 pitches in 7 innings. That was one of the most efficient outings from a Reds pitcher we've seen all year. Now, again, Chase Burns is their best pitcher. He's been unreal. One thing that I think Shaw and some of the listeners yesterday and yesterday's show pointed out is, hey, Chase Burns has been phenomenal. The only negative, if you want to be negative, is you'd like to see him kind of, go further into games. And a lot of that has to do with his pitch count and how efficient he is with his pitches. Last night, Brady Singer was more than efficient with his pitches. 106 total pitches in 7 innings. Very efficient throughout the night. And again, was just, struck out 7. Only gave up 2 hits in 7 innings. And then they go to the bullpen. Maul comes in. He strikes out a pair and gets 3 outs, doesn't give up a hit or a run. And then, of course, TJ Antone came in. He did give up a hit. He struck out a batter, and he was able to get out of a jam. Burt came in to actually close that out. And then Santiago, who's before last night was pitching better in a recent series of games. But, again, gave up an earned run, gave up 2 runs. One of those earned, did walk a batter, 13 strikes, 13 pitches. 8 of those were strikes. But again, Santillan just can't get it done late in games. And the Reds just don't have someone that they can rely on, to come in and close it out. Maul did his job. Burke did his job. Burke was one of the guys I really liked that the Reds got in the offseason. TJ Antone. I remember TJ Antone did the show a few times with me years ago when he was first coming onto the scene. Hell, that was back when Trevor Bauer was with the Cincinnati Reds, because TJ Antone was actually in the same throwing program, was with the same agent as Trevor Bauer, and they were working out together. They were, of course, doing everything together, and Antone was really starting to take off. He was throwing some nasty stuff, and then he had multiple arm surgeries and just hasn't been the same. But it's been nice kind of seeing him get another opportunity to play a role in the Reds bullpen, as they've needed much help. Look, I'm not making excuses. Last night, you just can't have that type of loss. You need wins right now. You need to beat the Brewers, all right? You've been dominated by the Pirates. You've been dominated by the Cubs. You've been beat up by the Cardinals. And already, the first time, the fact that it's taken all of April and all of May and most of June before you even see the Brewers for the first time, you got a 7-inning shutout performance, one of the most efficient outings from a starting pitcher for the Reds all season. And the bullpen took a shutout deep into the game, and they still couldn't get a win. 9 innings of shutout baseball. 9 innings of shutout baseball, and the Reds could not pick up a win. Those types of losses, like, I want to be positive about the way that they looked last night, but it's the result that's heartbreaking. Because what does that tell you? Because yesterday I spent all show talking about how special Chase Burns is. But then you see that this offense, they got shut out against the Yankees in game 1. Now, they did come back and win that series. Maybe they come back and win this series. They freaking better. They need it. But this offense, on way too many occasions, disappears, and they were just not a factor last night. I think they were no hit into the 6th inning. Tyler Stevenson was the lone hitter for the majority of the night. It was a 2-hit night for the Cincinnati Reds. Tyler Stevenson had 1, and Myers, who came in to pinch hit for Lowe later in the game, he has a hit. Outside of that, that's it. Sal Stewart, he gets an RBI, but no hit last night. He had a couple strikeouts. The Reds as a team collectively struck out 14 times. The Brewers struck out 11. The Brewers didn't play much better, but they were just the more opportunistic team last night. That's a gut-wrenching loss last night. I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Reds and Brewers game 2 coming up later on tonight. 7:10 will be the first pitch, with the 6:40 pregame coverage beginning right here on 1410 Wing AM. We'll see if Nick Lodolo can keep it rolling as far as what the Reds have been able to get from their starting pitching. The starting pitching for the Reds has been so damn good, but that's how bad the offensive contributions have been. And that's even with a series win over the Yankees that, they scored 4. They were shut out in game 1 and still had 14 runs scored in that series. But too many times the bats are falling apart. Look, in game 1, they beat the Mets 12-0. They won 10-2 in game 2 against the Yankees. But outside of that, we haven't seen any explosive offensive performances from this lineup at all, and that's what this team desperately needs. And this team's going to have to get creative when it comes to run production, because guess what? This rotation has been absolutely outstanding, and they're about to get Hunter Green back here within the next couple of weeks. Hunter Green will be making, of course, he's going to be making a rehab start on tonight. He'll be making a rehab start later on tonight at Louisville. And all eyes are going to be on Hunter Green to see how he looks. And I think that if he looks strong tonight and he will get a second rehab start and they'll reevaluate from there, we could be getting Hunter Green back in the next couple of weeks. But him coming back, as we're seeing, the Reds are already getting great starting pitching. Hunter Green coming back, definitely helps, adds more depth to the rotation, but this team needs help offensively. And that's what leads me to this next part. Elly De La Cruz earlier today was activated by the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds activated Elly De La Cruz from the 10-day injured list and optioned Will Benson to AAA Louisville. So that was announced earlier today. Not a surprise. I think we kind of figured that we were going to get Elly back today or tonight. It was talked about over the weekend. And there you have it. The Reds lineup for tonight has Elly De La Cruz batting second behind Dunn, who will lead things off in center field. So Elly De La Cruz is back. He's in the lineup tonight. This team got shut out last night. Again, this pitching for the Reds was phenomenal. Shut out the Brewers through 9, and the 2 runs that killed the Reds led to a 2-1 Game 1 final, and the Reds' struggles against the NL Central continue. We'll talk about the Reds' NL Central struggles, and we'll dive into the numbers when we come back. But I am curious. 937-518-1410. The starting pitching has been phenomenal for the Reds. The bullpen has been better, but not good enough. And the lineup and the offense just hasn't been there. Elly De La Cruz is back. How much of a big deal is that for this struggling Reds team? We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Justin Kinner Show right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Risa can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZY.
KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris is now hiring facilities industrial electricians. Do you have this specialized skill? This person must have a 2-year electrical degree or journeyman electrician card, knowledge in industrial electrical equipment, great communication skills, willing to work overtime, weekends, and shutdowns as needed. HVAC or plumbing experience is a plus. KTH offers excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and 401k. Apply today and be valued by a company that sincerely cares about you. Apply online at KTH.net, an equal opportunity employer.
For all of your tree needs, you've got to call Tackett Tree Service. Headquartered in Dayton and family owned since 1949, Tackett Tree Service delivers professional quality tree services to residential and commercial customers, including tree removal, pruning, trimming, stump grinding services. Plus, they have firewood and mulch for sale and even specialize in tree health care too. Call Tackett 7 days a week, 7 to 7, and emergency service 24/7. Call 937-630-2743 or see Tackett'sTreeService.com.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's the Justin Kinner Show here on a Tuesday. Reds lose 2-1 last night in extras. Reds were able to get a run up on the board in the bottom of the 10th, but fell just 1 run short after also being shut out through 9. Both the Reds and the Brewers, both 0-0 heading in to the 10th. How about that? Great pitching performance last night for the Cincinnati Reds again, and that just hasn't been the problem in this recent run. But to get that type of a performance from Brady Singer, because I was like, man, like Chase Burns, you needed him on the mound against the Yankees, but man, part of me was like, I would have rather had Brady Singer on the mound in Game 3 against the Yankees to have Chase Burns ready to go to set the tone for the Brewers. But honestly, you all know how much I love Chase Burns. I don't think he could have pitched any better than what we saw from Brady Singer last night, who was beyond efficient. All right, 106 pitches through 7 innings. Probably one of the most efficient outings of any Reds pitcher throughout this season. And the bullpen came in and did its job for regulation, if you will. Through 9, shutting out the Brewers, who have an explosive lineup. Reds just couldn't hold on. And, a couple mistakes late in that game. I'm not going to lie to you. I hate the starting extras with the runner on second. I used to be a big fan of that. I love and it's not just because the Reds lost, but I really do find that to be silly. I get why. I get the concept of it. But I do believe that, okay, inning 10, inning 11, I think that the extra runner or the runner on second in extras, I do believe that should be implemented around like the 11th or 12th inning if it goes that far. I don't like that it's the very first extra inning and boom, you put a runner on second. And like last night, both teams were just pitching too well for that to have an impact on either side. And had the Reds won, I would have been thrilled, but I would understand it from a Brewer standpoint of, man, you've pitched 9 innings of shutout baseball and lose because you automatically start with the runner in scoring position. I don't know. Not a big fan of that. But I know I'm a hypocrite because I've been a big fan of it. But I just think that, keep it. I like the concept of it. I just don't like the concept of after 9 innings, the very first extra inning that you arrive to, there's an extra runner on second. I don't like that. If the purpose is to prevent games from going so long, all right, but at least allow a couple clean extra innings before you have to revert to that. You pitch the 10th and the 11th. No runners are scored there. Okay, I get by the time you get to inning 12, maybe help the teams out a little bit. But nonetheless, the Reds played well last night, but that doesn't matter. You don't only drop a half a game or a fourth of a game for playing well and losing. You drop a game, and the Reds are now 3 games back in the wild card, and they're 10.5 back in the division, and that's just where we're at. But the Reds need help offensively. They need more pop in this lineup, and luckily they're going to get that back. We talked about it the last part of the show. Elly De La Cruz has been activated from the 10-day injured list, and the Reds optioned Will Benson back to Louisville. So there's that. The Reds lineup, there it is for those watching on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page and the Justin Kinner Show YouTube channel. You have Dunn, who will lead things off in center field with Elly De La Cruz batting second in the lineup. Blade will start in left field, and he'll bat third, and Sal Stewart will bat cleanup and get the start at first. Lowe is the designated hitter tonight, with Suarez playing at third, by the way. Marte will play in right field, and he'll bat behind Suarez. And that'll be 7th. And then Trevino back tonight, batting 8th, and he's catching, and Arroyo getting the start at second base. How about this? You get Elly De La Cruz back, Eugenio Suarez in the lineup, and no Matt McClain. I think that the Reds, I've seen some different opinions on the McClain thing. I'm kind of giving up on the McClain thing. I do believe McClain not bouncing back to what he was his rookie season, honestly, is one of the biggest reasons that this team has had the setback that they have. I truly believe that because Sal Stewart has been unbelievable. Elly De La Cruz is their superstar, no doubt about it. You add Eugenio Suarez. It's unfortunate that hasn't panned out yet, and I always keep saying yet because there's still plenty of time. But for Matt, I don't think there's anything there for Matt McClain. I was patient at the beginning because you had a great rookie season. Second year, banged up with injuries. Third year, you came back still battling that same injury and recovering from it. But this is year 4. And the thing is that people forget about Matt McClain is you guys remember going back to spring training? People always say, well, spring training numbers don't matter. They don't matter. I'm like, well, if the numbers are bad, they matter. If the numbers are good, you want to say that they don't matter. I wanted to put some substance into Matt McClain's best numbers. They don't have a spring training MVP, but Matt McClain would have won that. He was the best player in spring training. He was definitely the Reds' best player throughout spring training. He was playing with the level of confidence that I thought was going to carry over into the regular season. It has not. He is just not relevant. He's not a contributor. And I do believe his setback or his, water finding its level moment ever since coming back, that has really hurt this team. Because when this team it was 3 or 4 years ago when they all came onto the scene, we thought the future was super bright with the way that McClain was playing. Elly burst onto the scene. Spencer Steer, who still, by the way, Spencer Steer is a very good contributor to this team. There's no doubt about that. All with Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo and everything. It was like, man, this team's future is bright. But it just, the brightness has been dimmed, no doubt about it, because of Matt McClain not being able to produce. But I'm interested in how this lineup produces tonight. I like the top of the order for the Reds. I do. I like De La Cruz into Blade into Stewart. Lowe has not hit a home run in quite some time. Lowe was actually hitting really well for the Reds early. He has definitely cooled off. He's in the DH spot tonight. Like to see him go yard tonight. But I like the balance of the lineup. If Suarez starts swinging the bat well, I wouldn't move him. I kind of like him there in the middle of that order. I like him below the middle of the order, if you will. But him batting 6th, I think, is a good spot. as far as that goes. But Suarez, I think for the Reds to have a chance with the way that this pitching is, like Suarez, you got to earn that money. I've been a big defender of Suarez, but damn it, he has to start hitting. Are you hurt? I don't think he's hurt. There's been nothing out there about an injury. He was hurt. He just hasn't bounced back since coming back. I don't know what the difference is. A year ago, this is a guy that was knocking the snot off the ball. He had about 30 home runs heading into the All-Star break. Right now, he's barely making a dent in that. And I've been patient. I've been a defender of the move. I still think the move was right. At some point, you got to look at the player and say, I don't care how how bright your smile is. I don't care how great your energy is. And I don't care about your relationship with Jim Day. I don't care about any of that stuff. I care about, can you hit the damn baseball? Suarez has to start hitting the baseball. He has to start hitting it tonight. I went out on a limb. I went all in on Eugenio Suarez, last week when he had that 2 home run performance against the Mets, and all he has done is strike out and be a zero factor ever since. He has to start being a factor. I mean, right now, Elly De La Cruz is back. Suarez is in the lineup tonight. Suarez is at third base. He has to start earning his money because the Reds pitching has been so freaking good as of late, and they really don't have much to show for it. That Yankees series was huge, but you can't beat the Yankees, beat the Mets, and then turn right around and get dismantled by your division. You just canceled everything out. I think I saw a tweet today that said Fangraphs had the Reds playoff chances at like 6%. That they have like the third worst odds in the National League to make the playoffs, which is crazy because, you look at the situation right now, the Reds are 37-40. They're 3 games back of a playoff spot. They're getting Hunter Green back. They're getting Elly back tonight. You have a Cy Young caliber pitcher in, Chase Burns, of course. Brady Singer was phenomenal last night. This rotation has been great. The bullpen's getting healthier. But yet, and this goes back to the point a lot of you last week were trying to make to me, I said that the division doesn't matter, but the division very much matters, to your guys' credit, when you pointed out the fact that, but all the teams in the division that you're battling with are the same teams you're battling with for those wild card spots. You're battling with the Pirates. You're battling with the Cubs. You're battling with the Cardinals. And the Brewers, may not be in that wild card spot right now, but I mean, all they're doing is just continuing to pummel on the Reds when it's all said and done. Suarez has to step up tonight. Elly being back is a huge deal, but his production has to be complemented by everyone else. 937-518-1410. That's the number to call or text. Elly De La Cruz is back. What does that mean? What does that mean for this Reds team? Me and Shaw got into it last week because Shaw was saying that, it's not that Elly doesn't contribute or doesn't matter, but his presence doesn't seem to matter because they were losing with them. They were losing without him. So him being back means what? I didn't agree with him, but I understand kind of where he's coming from. It's not, if Elly, they were struggling when Elly was in the lineup. And I will never not be excited about the return of Elly De La Cruz, but what does the return of Elly De La Cruz technically mean for this Reds lineup right now? This is a team that was struggling to hit the ball even while he was hitting the ball well in the lineup. Him coming back means what? Is this team going to start winning games now because Elly's back in the lineup? I think that the Reds, there's a lot of games that I believe the Reds have lost throughout the absence of Elly De La Cruz, and I think last night could be one of those. I think Elly not playing last night, assuming that, he comes back and is ready to hit and play well, I think last night's a game that they win if Elly plays. That's a game that they win if Elly De La Cruz plays, in my opinion, as far as that goes. I believe that they win that series against the Padres. I believe they win that game 3 late in that game against San Diego if he's in that lineup. All right. I think that they win, at St. Louis. I think they get that St. Louis win that they lost 6-5. I think that he matters in some of those close one-run losses throughout. Because I think that he gets, I think that he gets on base. I think that he's good for a run. I think he's good for an RBI. I just can't say that he wouldn't matter in a lot of those games. I think he would matter, and I think he's going to have an impact coming back. But what say you? 937-518-1410. Elly's back, but what does that mean? Are the Reds are they good now? Are they going to start winning games now because Elly's back? I'm very curious your thoughts. Elly being back means what for this Reds team right now? Because to be excited about Elly's return means we're excited about the Reds having a chance to win, right? Is that what he brings to the table in your opinion? 937-518-1410. We'll discuss more in depth with your responses. You can text or call Elly being back means what for your Red Legs? More next.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like, but you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places. What you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. From budget to the best. From desks to filing cabinets. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to want to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 Mac Oil Avenue in Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay, things people love.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Nobody builds a business without hearing a few reasons it won't work. Too risky, too crowded, too ambitious. But the people who move things forward usually hear those words first. Because growing a business takes more than optimism. It takes nerve, and eventually, a partner built for what's next. That's Next Rodeo. Big thinking, proven creative. For businesses still moving forward. Next Rodeo. The difference between the business you have and the business you want. Meet us at thenextrodeo.com.
Hustler Mowers are here to work, known for their reliability, quality, and speed. They're as hardworking as you are, sun up to sundown. Whether you're a homeowner who takes pride in their lawn or a landscaper whose reputation rides on quality equipment that won't let you down, Hustler Church has a wide selection of mowers ready to tackle any job. Come see us today at Small Engine Service Pros at 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle to shop our lineup of Hustler mowers today. Visit us online at SESPros.com.
Kubota keeps the job site running smoothly with the #1 selling compact excavator lineup in the world.
Reliable, capable, and backed by strong dealer support. Stop by today to power up your crew. Right now, bring home select Kubota excavators with 0% financing available or save up to $7,000. Now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimer for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment Company in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see our full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check us out online at columbusequipment.com.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
Nick Lodolo going to be on the mound tonight for your Cincinnati Reds as the Reds try to, get off the mat after being knocked out last night. Shutting out the Brewers for 9 innings, giving up 2 in the top of the 10th. The Reds were able to counter with a run of their own in the bottom of the 10th, but it wasn't enough. They fall a run short. 2-1 the final. They waste one of the most efficient outings from a Red starting pitcher all season, and really the Red starting pitching has been phenomenal as of late. Chase Burns is no doubt their best pitcher right now, but last night Brady Singer was pretty damn good. I mean, he goes 7 innings, gives up 2 hits, 0 runs on 106 pitches. It was one of the most efficient outings from a Red starting pitcher all year. A quality start that does not result in a win. And that's the unfortunate thing for the Reds last night. So when we talk about the Reds, we're close to getting Hunter Green back. Well, what does that mean? Because we're going to continue to get outstanding outings from Chase Burns. We saw what we got last night with Brady Singer. Hunter Green's coming back. But all that means nothing when this lineup consistently fails you in division games. And that's what's happened on one too many occasions, and it happened last night, and that's the unfortunate part. So with the Reds getting Elly De La Cruz back, that does put them in a position to potentially improve offensively, And this is such an important stretch because you have right now 10 straight games against NL Central opponents. 7 of those 10 are against this Milwaukee Brewers team. The other 3 are against a Pirates team that you've only beat once in 7 tries or in 6 tries this season. The Reds against the NL Central, as we sit here right now, are 2-14 against the division. But here's the interesting thing. The Reds are 9 games above 500 against everybody else. The Reds are 9 games above 500 against everybody else. They are 35-26 against teams who do not play in the NL Central. The Reds are 19-11 against the American League, but they are really bad against the National League, 10 games under 500. Now, the majority of those losses are all against NL Central teams. So that's what's fascinating about all of this is, what is it, a mental thing? Like, what is the reason that the Reds are struggling against the Central? Why are the Reds struggling against the NL Central? I mean, are these teams just that much better? But are the Brewers, Cubs, and Pirates any more better than the Reds than the New York Yankees? You know what I mean? Like, are they any better than, the Atlanta Braves? I know they dropped 2 or 3 against the Braves, but they did get a game against New York or against Atlanta. Of course, they can't even get a game against the Central. They only have 2 games total. That's what's fascinating about all of this when you look at how the Reds have fared against some of the better teams in baseball, how they compete with some of the better teams in baseball. They're 10 games above 5, well more than double-digit games above 500 against everyone else that's not in the division. I mean, the Tampa Rays, okay? All right, the Tampa Bay Rays are 43-32. They're one of the top teams in the American League. and the Reds have a series win against them. In fact, the Reds outscored them. All right, let's see. What is that? That's 19 to 10 is what they outscored the Rays in that series from earlier in the season. Of course, that was back in April. All right, the Reds took 2 or 3. All right, from them. I mean, like they've beaten good teams throughout the season. They can't beat the NL Central. What is it about this Central that the Reds just can't see? To me, it's mental. This has to be mental more than anything else when it's all said and done. And the Reds right now, game 2 against the Brewers tonight. They'll wrap up the Brewers series, at least the home portion, tomorrow before they hit the road for a 7-game road trip. 3 of those will be at Pittsburgh, and the final 4 will be at Milwaukee. Then after that, it's crazy that there's only 3. After they finish this NL Central stretch, they'll only have 3 series remaining before the All-Star break. They wrap up the first half of the season with the Chicago Cubs series, July 10th, 11th, and 12th. So that's what's going on there as far as what's ahead for your Cincinnati Reds. Now, Ron, I see Ron's chiming in the chat regarding just how bad, the Reds are at, when it comes to swinging the bat. And it's hard to argue. I mean, collectively as a team, they have the second worst batting average in all of baseball. All right. They have the second worst batting average in all of baseball collectively. And they're 3 games under 500. Now, say what you will, their pitching is way better than the Padres, but the Padres have the worst collective hitting average in all of baseball. And yet there are 3 games above 500. And they are sitting, comfortably in the playoffs. I shouldn't say comfortably, but they are sitting well in the playoffs as we sit here right now behind the Dodgers in that division. When it comes to total runs scored on the season, I mean, I guess the one thing that the Reds have going for them is the fact that, well, they're not the worst run-producing team in baseball. The Blue Jays, the Tigers, Giants, Guardians, Rangers, Mets, Padres, and Red Sox, all worse when it comes to producing runs in Major League Baseball. So, hey, there's a win. What about the long ball? One reason that the Reds were so aggressive in going to pursue Eugenio Suarez and others in the offseason was to help fix that problem. They were one of the worst power-hitting teams in baseball last year. And let's be clear, Suarez was brought in to help with that, and he hasn't helped with that. It's actually been J.J. Bleday who's kind of helped turn that around. The Reds are actually top 10 in total home runs hit on the season as a team. They hit for power. The problem is when you talk about the lack of run support is the fact that they just don't have a lot of guys on base. It's a lot of single solo shots. Also, kind of a problem when that's all said and done. The Reds, when it comes to like total RBIs on the season, again, they're near the bottom. I mean, everything that you can imagine, they are at the bottom. Now, here's where it gets really bad. The Reds have struck out the 3rd most times collectively. They don't produce a lot of runs. They strike out a ton. I mean, when they do hit the long ball, but there's no one on base. So, like, this team offensively has some issues, which is why I asked, Elly De La Cruz is back, and what does it necessarily mean for this Cincinnati Reds team? This message comes from over in Miamisburg. Steve in Miamisburg messages into the show, which you could do as well, 937-518-1410. Elly back seems to be more of a morale boost than it does a production boost. This Reds team is dead in the water. That's from Steve in Miamisburg. So Steve says that Elly's return is more of a morale boost than it is anything else. And I kind of see where he's coming from. It's like we're excited that Elly's back, but when I ask people, what does Elly's return mean? Nobody really can say anything. No one, no one's been able to sit here and message in or call in and say, oh, Elly's back, the Reds are okay. I think because all of us as Reds fans, all of you Reds fans have collectively agreed, Elly coming back doesn't really mean anything. I don't know if I agree with that. Shaw, that was kind of Shaw's point last week that him and I argued and debated about. But that's kind of where we're at right now. A lot of you seem to agree more with Shaw than myself that Elly being back isn't a big deal. Look, the bottom line is this. You can't convince me Elly being back is a bad thing. You can't convince me that Elly being back is a non-factor. It has to be. You cannot convince me that Elly De La Cruz being back is not going to have an impact on this team as far as that's concerned. I mean, when you look at the type of season that he was having, I mean, he was having an MVP caliber season before going on the IL. Before going on the IL, he was having an MVP caliber season. When you look at the numbers, I mean, he was hitting 280. He had 12 home runs, 37 RBIs, which is the most RBIs that he has had at this point of a season throughout his career with the Reds. And for him to miss the amount of games that he did, how many, I mean, the way he was driving runners in and hitting the long ball and doing everything else he was doing as far as the stolen bases, doing what he was doing there. I just, you cannot convince me that him coming back is not going to have an impact, a positive impact on this team. Him being back is going to help this team win games. And I think that they get this one tonight. I think that with Nick Lodolo on the mound and him, Elly back in the lineup, I think that the Reds take care of business tonight against the Brewers in game 2. 937-518-1410. We'll continue to focus on this more here in a bit. But yeah, a lot of you are acting like this Reds team is dead in the water. Their chances are next to none. Elly being back is not going to have an impact on this team. That's what a lot of you are saying. This one, Matt in Vandalia says, Elly being back, he's fun to watch, but this team's not fun to watch. This team's going nowhere. Man, this team has you guys down and out. You guys are not believers in this team. And I understand it. The trust issue that you have with this organization, I can't convince you otherwise. But you're not going to convince me that Elly being back is not going to have a positive impact on this team. When, again, the Reds, you keep telling me about all their deficiencies. As bad as the Reds have been, imagine how bad all the other teams have to be around the Reds that have allowed this bad Reds team to still be in the hunt. That's what's crazy. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Star City Concrete is the Miami Valley's most trusted concrete company, offering unparalleled services as a local family-owned business celebrating 20 years. We offer residential and commercial driveways, patios, walkways, steps, barn floors, slabs, foundations, and much more. Star City Concrete takes pride in delivering exceptional quality in every project. Our professional team understands that needs are unique, so we offer personalized solutions that stand the test of time. Contact us today for a quote at starcityconcretellc.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repair? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at turbotrackrealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Old English Outfitters is a one-stop shop for all your firearms, archery, hunting, and accessory needs, as well as repairs with a full-time staff gunsmith. 480 Ginghamsburg Road, Tip City.
He's a former coach with 2 sons who played professional basketball. Satch Sullinger's a competitive individual, but his golf game was suffering because of painful joints.
Right. That's real important. The golf game. Right. As we get older, we create these bad habits because we're relegated to hit a certain way.
QC Kinetics used regenerative treatments, all natural healing properties from Satch's own body, to restore those damaged joints and get his golf game back on track.
QC Kinetics regenerative medicine is regenerating me, all natural. And that's what I'm about. I'm going to tell everybody why I'm better.
Oh, and by the way, looks like the competitive Satch is back.
We're all in the same boat, and I'm getting better, and I'm watching them stay old.
Go to QCkinetics.com. Get relief and your game back. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Hey, Cordell Transportation is now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers, excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply right now, online at CordellTransportation.com. Do it right now. Driven to succeed.
You want hot takes?
No, I'm not going to apologize to Ryan Day. Everything we said about Ryan Day up into the playoffs was true.
Not bad. Come on, Kenner. You can do better than that.
To be fair, of all the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, Joe Burrow is the least accomplished.
Getting better.
1,000,000%. I 1,000,000% believe that the Dayton Flyers are afraid of the Wright State Raiders. That's why they come up with every excuse in the book not to play them.
There it is. The hottest take of them all. It's the Justin Kinner Show, presented by Frickers, live on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, hour number 2. It's the Justin Kinner Show here on a Tuesday. A lot of Reds talk in the first hour. A lot of Reds talk yesterday as well. Step away from the Reds for a moment. Look, the Reds are back at it tonight. Tough one in extras last night. Elly De La Cruz has been activated by the Reds. He is back, and not just back, but back in the lineup. And he'll help, at least aim to help the Reds get off the mat after last night's Game 1 loss against the Brewers. 2-14 the Reds are against the NL Central. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal when it's all said and done. I mean, the Reds' numbers against everyone else in baseball is pretty phenomenal. The Reds' numbers against the division is pretty. Look, 2-14 against the NL Central. They are 35-26 against everybody else. That's not just a couple games above 500. I mean, that's a 35-26, 9 games above 500. The Reds are against every team that does not play in the NL Central that they have placed or faced. I mean, not good enough. Not good enough. Hopefully, Elly comes back and helps this team become a little good enough when it's all said and done. We opened up the show with the big story in sports today. Again, the supplemental draft. The supplemental draft, I don't think the supplemental draft has ever had more attention on it than it has right now. And the attention that the supplemental draft has is not because of what the draft is going to be. It's because it's not going to be anything. The supplemental draft will not happen for this upcoming NFL season. The NFL's decision to elect not to hold the supplemental draft came down to its right to decide whether to hold a supplemental draft per the collective bargaining agreement, as league officials said they believed it would ultimately become a distraction to teams as they begin training camps. A distraction to teams. I think that the NFL knows just how bad this could have gotten had Sorsby been selected and made an NFL roster. I will be curious to see what happens as next year. Sorsby will be eligible for the 2027 NFL draft. Obviously not going to be drafted in this draft. It's already passed. But he was going to, everyone thought for sure, including me and many, that he was just going to be a part of the supplemental draft and would be on an NFL roster this year. We talked about I gave my list for the 5 teams that make the most sense for Brendan Sorsby. I had the Browns on that list. Not a surprise whatsoever. But Sorsby is eligible to play for other professional leagues this upcoming season, but he'll need to enter the 2027 April draft to join the NFL. So the NFL's decision to bypass the supplemental draft does not make Brendan Sorsby a street free agent, if you will, which I've never understood that. I've also never understood, I've always said, look, we love the NFL draft. We love the draft in general. I've gotten poked fun at a lot for my view of how to make the draft better. I've always said stop incentivizing teams to lose, reward the teams that try to win. The first team out of the playoffs should get the number 1 overall pick. All your playoff teams, they're already good quality playoff teams. The middle of your league would get better. And then the bottom of the league, which would say, well, how do they get better? Well, they would be forced to spend money to go get good players, and now everyone's aiming to win. I've said that forever, but the concept of the draft is silly. Like if you go to college in any field and you are one of the best at what you do and you're one of the smartest students and you check off every box and you graduate, and it's like, oh, what are you going to do after you graduate? Well, I don't know. I got to wait to see which hospital, if I go to school to be a doctor. Oh, what job you have? I don't know yet. I have to wait till after I graduate to find out which hospital is going to force me to go work for them. It's not how it works. The better you are as a student and in your field, the better opportunities you're going to get and get to choose from. But yet in sports, we say that we almost punish you. The better you're at, the worst situation we're going to send you to. My goodness. Congratulations, Arch Manning. You killed it. You were such a great example in college about being patient and staying the course and being loyal. And now you're the best quarterback in college football. And thanks for everything that you have done. Congratulations. You're a Cleveland Brown. What the hell is that? But hey, if Arch Manning ends up in Cleveland, I ain't going to lose sleep over it. I might lose a lot of sleep for the 17 games that it's going to take to get him, but that's besides the point. It's always just been weird to me. So the fact that they say that Brendan Sorsby cannot just jump into the NFL and just play for any team he wants as a street free agent, I don't know. And I'm genuinely asking this. I don't understand why that's the case. Why can't he? Why do you have to declare for the draft? If you don't declare for the draft and you say, hey, you know what? I don't want to play football. I'm going to go pursue other things. And then in a couple months you say, I do want to play football. Actually, I'm going to go try out for the Browns. Why? I've never understood that. Why are those restrictions put in place? That forcing players to go to the draft is strange to me. How unique, how weird would it be if the draft didn't exist? If Arch Manning hoists up a national championship trophy at Texas and says he's just going to go to the NFL, what would be more entertaining? We love the draft. We know we're entertained by the draft, but what would be more entertaining? Would it be more entertaining if all of a sudden you just have all these phenomenal free agents and it's just an absolute chaotic blank show of teams just going after every player they can get their hands on? That little hungry hippos game where there's all those balls and you're just like trying to get as many of those in as possible. I don't know why I'm using a kid's game as an example, but that's exactly what this would be. It's basically what the transfer portal is, to be quite honest with you. But how unique would it be? Would that be more entertaining? Would you be more entertained like the Browns? All right, you have a chance to get Arch Manning. I mean, then really everyone could try to compete at all times to be good and still go after the top players in the draft. I don't know. Not really the draft, but in college football. I actually don't think that would be better than the draft system. I hate the draft system to begin with. But again, I've never understood the lack of freedom that these players have to go somewhere where it's like, hold on, my whole future depends on going somewhere where I can flourish. And if I have to go to Cleveland and my career is dead because of some stupid archaic draft setup that you guys have, I understand that frustration. I'm not a Brendan Sorsby apologist by any means, but I do think it's kind of crappy that he can't just, okay, I'm not going to declare for the draft. I'm not going to play college football this year. If a team wants to sign him, they should be able to sign him, I guess is my point. But the NFL is basically protecting the league from themselves. I don't know. But, either way, so this was Albert Breer. Albert Breer says, I can't remember the NFL ever denying a player entry to the supplemental draft. Albert Breer says they've let guys in who were ruled ineligible because of drugs, like Josh Gordon. The NCAA rule breaking, like Terrell Pryor. Remember the Terrell Pryor? And grades, Ahmad Brooks. And he said over and over and over, like clearly the NFL is drawing the line here. The NFL says you can be high as hell. We'll have a supplemental draft. You can break whatever rule you want. We'll have a supplemental draft. You can be dumb as hell. You can have a supplemental draft. But if you place a wager, no supplemental draft. Clearly the NFL is drawing the line here. And I agree with Albert Breer on that. As far as that goes. But I find all of this fascinating, that the NFL is just pulling the plug on the supplemental draft to basically keep Sorsby from jumping into the NFL. And maybe, because that's the other thing too. Many people were curious, if Sorsby does get drafted, would he have to serve a suspension? Maybe this is the NFL's backdoor way of suspending him for a season. Sorsby, you could declare for the 2027 NFL draft, but you will not play this upcoming season. Is this like a backdoor way of handing Sorsby a season-long suspension? Who knows? But nonetheless. David Mann says, what about just flipping the entire order of the non-playoff teams in the NFL draft, or do like the NBA now? Oh, look, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get into like a big old draft debate as far as the format of it. But by the way, David, I respect your opinion, but if you think that the NBA does it right, I mean, I disagree wholeheartedly. The NBA took one of the stupidest ways to do the draft, and they made it even stupider with the changes that they made most recently, in my opinion. I'm just, again, rewarding teams for losing. It's all wrong. It's ridiculous. It's like, if you're really bad at your, coaches, if you do a really bad job, players, you do a bad job, ownership and GMs, you do a really bad job. If you collectively do a bad job, we are going to reward you with the best player in college football. To me, is just so ass backwards. It just doesn't make any sense. Ron Howard says Sorsby should be banned from the NFL, supplemental draft at least 1 year, or go to Canada or XFL. His career will be bumpy. Look, he's eligible. He can go play in any of those leagues that he wants. He can go to anything. If he wants to go play in Columbus, he can. He could play, is what they're saying, but he has to declare for the NFL draft when it's all said and done. So we'll see what ultimately happens when it's all said and done. But either way. Ann, I hope you're well. Ann says, is he even available? They can't acquire anyone if they are not available. If their current team will trade them, and more to the point, will the Reds pay him? I doubt it. And I do know all of this already. Ann, I'm not sure are we talking Reds here? I'm confused as to what you're referencing, Ann. I think you're talking about what we're talking about, but you said the Reds, so I'm just confused. That's all. But either way, the NFL, to sum up, will not be holding the supplemental draft. Nonetheless, an NFL source tells ESPN that Sorsby's application carries with it a lot of issues, core of the game integrity issues. Yes, this isn't that difficult, to be honest with you. Sorsby admitted to betting thousands of times on college football and pro sports. Bets that totaled upward of $90,000 included 40 wagers on Indiana football while he was on the team. Guys, there's been some reports that have come out of a player that, he bet the over on an NHL game, and he's a college football player, whatever. This isn't that. This is $90,000 or more that he spent on these wagers. 40 of these wagers were on Indiana football, of which he played for at the time. And then you have an outstanding human being named Jeffrey Kessler, who is the attorney, and he tells ESPN that the NFL's decision to not hold a supplemental draft is a violation of the CBA and the law. The NFL's breaking the law, according to this attorney. He says, we will pursue this immediately with the NFL Players Association. Now, that's his take, but the NFL has come out to say that the decision came down to its right to decide whether to hold a supplemental draft, and that is, well, again, the attorney's saying that it's a violation of the CBA. The NFL is saying actually they have the right to carry it or not based on the collective bargaining agreement. So I don't know where this goes, but I'm also to the point now where I'm so tired of hearing about the crybaby attorney. I'm tired of hearing about Sorsby. I'm tired of hearing about all of this. If Sorsby could just go away, I think it's a win. I don't want to see him in the NFL. I don't want to hear about Sorsby in football anymore. All right. I mean, he really needs to just be focused on his rehabilitation, in my opinion. Just go focus on that and stop worrying about the NFL. I mean, suing anybody that just looks at them funny. I'm over the attorney. I'm over Sorsby. I'm over this all. But Jeffrey Kessler, yes, the Sorsby's attorney. We're going to sue you. It's against the law, he says. So dramatic. It's against the law. But nonetheless, the league told Sorsby in a letter obtained by ESPN that your petition filed 3 business days before the deadline without any supporting information or documentation, and only after abandoning your recent litigation efforts to avoid the NCAA sanctions, does not provide a basis for the league to alter those plans. So, either way. something to keep an eye on nonetheless. But Sorsby had initially been issued a temporary injunction to clear his path to play at Texas Tech this season. But when the Big 12 filed in federal court with aims to punish Sorsby and Texas Tech, Sorsby withdrew his suit and declared for the supplemental draft. Basically, he thought what Sorsby thought, like, by the way, Sorsby thought he was going towards the path of least resistance. I think that Sorsby thought with the injunction and everything that worked out in his favor, but now with the Big 12 stepping in, I think he just thought, man, this is actually screw it. I'm just going to go to the NFL. And he thought that would be the easier path. He thought that his problems wouldn't follow him there, but that's not the case. And I think he made the wrong decision. He's made a ton of wrong decisions, but I'm sorry. I just don't feel bad. I don't. I'm not a rules are the rules guy. I'm just a use common sense type of guy. And Sorsby was not using any common sense any step of this way. And I don't think anybody in his circle is using common sense either. I don't think anyone at Texas Tech is using common sense. They didn't do anything right here. They shouldn't get out of jail free. Maybe an aggressive pun there, but they shouldn't get out of jail free just because he's not playing next season. They were wholeheartedly willing to back up the Brinks truck to support this kid nonetheless. Anyways, David Shaw says, Arch may go to the Browns, but that's why he will be making millions. Burrow went to the Bengals and he turned things around. Arch can as well. I mean, quarterbacks usually have success in Cincinnati. Cincinnati actually has a strong lineage of quarterbacks. Going to Cincinnati wasn't going to end Burrow's career. It's not a surprise that Burrow has success in Cincinnati. I mean, look at the history of quarterbacks in Cincinnati. I don't know what you mean by that at all. And stop taking everything so literal. Like, I'm just saying, I'm not like, I don't think it's that crazy to say that the draft concept is kind of stupid. These kids should just be able to pick, just like any other line of work. If I do really well at what I'm going to school for and I graduate and I'm really good at what I do, I should be able to pick where I want to take my talents to, not be forced to go. If I'm a really, really, if I'm going to school to be a doctor and I crush it, I shouldn't be forced to go to the crappiest hospital in the entire country and try to work my way up. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's a very common sense take and approach to all of this as far as that's concerned. But anyways, either way, I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio, 937-518-1410. Was the NFL wrong for pulling the plug on the supplemental draft, basically nixing any opportunity that Sorsby has of playing in the NFL this upcoming season? 937-518-1410. Text or call. We'll be right back.
Just one simple step can help prevent gun deaths. During Gun Violence Awareness Month, experts say safe firearm storage, keeping guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition, can save lives. Dr. Catherine Hoops with the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions says it's a critical step.
Safe storage reduces the risk of suicide and unintentional shootings, protecting children and families, and preventing tragedies before they happen.
Learn more at everyguneverytime.org.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Today, sunshine to start, then a few afternoon clouds with a high of 79. Today, generally clear skies, low of 56 degrees. And tomorrow for your Wednesday, generally sunny despite a few afternoon clouds and a high of 82. I'm Adam Zelek for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Cordell Transportation is looking for more weekend warriors. If you have a Class A CDL and would like to make some extra money casually driving weekend daytime routes, then Cordell Transportation is looking for you. Home daily, all loads round trip, no touch freight, and competitive pay. Full-time routes could become available if you're interested. Drive weekends at Cordell Transportation. Apply at CordellTransportation.com or call Ron at 937-277-7271. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
If you need new roofing, siding or gutters, skylights or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. See Lance Roofing and Siding at their new location at 6903 Dayton Springfield Road in Enon. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722. Online at lanceroofing.com.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code BALANCE to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code BALANCE to borrow up to $10,000. Use code BALANCE to borrow up to $10,000.
Planning to buy a home in 2026? Not sure where to start? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency can help. With a step-by-step homebuyer's guide and financial tools, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency can make homeownership part of your future. Eligible homebuyers may qualify for down payment assistance and reduced mortgage interest rates. To see if you qualify and to find a mortgage lender, visit myohiohome.org.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Oh no, I dropped my lip balm in the water. I can't think of anything worse than the looming threat of potentially having chapped lips. It was ginger vanilla, too, my favorite flavor.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
This Father's Day, do more with Dad and spend less with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Get him fired up with a new grill and accessories, like the Next Grill 5-burner for just $299, so you can spend more time together while he becomes the grill master he was always meant to be. Or build memories with savings on top brand power tools so you can tackle projects side by side. Gift more and do more together this Father's Day with help from the Home Depot. Exclusions apply. See HomeDepot.com/price match for details.
From the Montgomery County Clerk of Court's office, I'm Shannon Crabtree. Join us for Clerk Mike Foley's award-winning Connecting with the Community Speaker Series, connecting citizens to local leaders. Join us on Tuesday, July 21st, when National Peace Ambassador Marlon Shackelford shares highlights of his award-winning violence interruption programming. That's Connecting with the Community from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Employment Opportunity Center in the Westtown Shopping Center on West 3rd Street in Dayton. Another example of how Clerk Mike Foley is bringing the courthouse to you.
Swing by Frickers today and treat yourself to our irresistible ribs and chunks special. Enjoy tender, saucy ribs grilled to perfection, paired with your choice of frickin' chicken chunks, boneless wings, or traditional wings, plus homemade slaw, your favorite side, and a roll, all for just $16.99. Don't forget, kids eat free all day, every day at Frickers. So bring the whole family for great food, family fun, and all the sports action you crave. At your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. Remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year.
$5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code PROGRAM25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PROGRAM25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PROGRAM25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You know, I used to think all money managers were the same until I spoke with Fisher Investments.
Really? How different are they?
Fisher's investment counselors are dedicated to service, not sales, keeping clients up to date on their portfolio.
Well, they probably just invest in a bunch of mutual funds like I do.
Nope. They build a tailored portfolio based on their clients' personal goals, helping them stay on track for a comfortable retirement.
Well, they must make commissions selling products.
Actually, Fisher doesn't sell any commission-based products. They're a fiduciary, and they believe that's a conflict.
Then they have some kind of complex fee structure.
Nope. Fisher has a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of their client's portfolio. So they do better when their clients do better.
It sounds like Fisher really is different.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Fisher Investments, clearly different wealth management. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hustler Mowers are here to work, known for their reliability, quality, and speed. They're as hardworking as you are, sun up to sundown. Whether you're a homeowner who takes pride in their lawn or a landscaper whose reputation rides on quality equipment that won't let you down, Hustler Church has a wide selection of mowers ready to tackle any job. Come see us today at Small Engine Service Pros at 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle to shop our lineup of Hustler mowers today. Visit us online at SESPros.com.
Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
The Guess Who Live. Rock icons Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings taking it back tour, performing together as the Guess Who for the first time in 23 years. This Saturday night at Riverbend Music Center. Special guest Don Felder, formerly of the Eagles. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings. The Guess Who Live.
Now, back to the Justin Kinner Show, right here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's 4:28 here in the Miami Valley. It's the Justin Kinner Show presented by Frickers. Frickers, your home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Lamar Shelley. Lamar, it's been a while. Haven't heard from you in a while. Great to hear from you. Lamar Shelley says this Brendan Sorsby thing is an instant 30 for 30. Obviously, two different situations, but the outcomes could be similar in this situation, as was for Maurice Clarett, a what could have been case. Maybe, but that's the thing. Oh, and Lamar, you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. But that's what's fascinating about all this is you bring up Maurice Clarett was a way better college football player in his limited time than what Sorsby was in the NFL for him. Now it's because Sorsby plays such a high profile position. If a punter, if it had come out that UC's punter or Texas Tech's punter or Ohio State's punter had placed over $90,000 worth of wagers over his college career, would this be as big of a story as what it is? I don't think so. I think it would be a talking point, but I don't think that it would. I mean, we've spent a lot of time on this show. I mean, every show has. I truly believe it is because it's the position of which he plays. And, and that's the other thing. If Sorsby stayed at UC, would it be as big a story as what it is right now? I think it's as big a story as what it is because of how much money he made once he entered the transfer portal. The way he left Cincinnati and joined Texas Tech was a little bit of a bumpy situation too. everything with Sorsby has been bumpy over the last year. So that's kind of, I think, what has led this to be as big a story as it is. But the sheer volume of wagers and the amount of money that was invested into this, that's the thing. But yeah, Lamar, you're right. They're vastly different. But I do think that this is going to be a 30 for 30 at some point just because of the ramifications and the fallout of it. Just when you think it's done, and we're not done. So the supplemental draft, the plug on that has been pulled. Hey, the supplemental draft, the plug on that has been pulled, right? And so with that being pulled, now the next layer is, of course, the NFL deciding to pull the plug on the supplemental draft. So now he's going to enter next year's draft, and then he's going to join that team, and then all cameras are going to be on him, and there's going to be, I don't know. I'm very interested to see when this storyline officially ends, but it's definitely big enough to where people are going to be all over it for quite some time and the impact that it's going to have moving forward. But you bring up Maurice Clarett, other college football news from earlier today. How about this? Ohio State did announce that they are going to enshrine Jim Tressel in its Ring of Honor on September 5th when they welcome in Ball State. Jim Tressel, who's been on this show multiple times, national championship winning coach and national championship caliber human, by the way. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He really is. Like the way he interacts with everybody. I mean, you would never guess that he was a former college football coach, and the way that he just interacts. He's one of the nicest humans you'll ever meet. So I was happy to read this news earlier today. Tressel, who coached Ohio State from 2001 to 2010 and led the Buckeyes to a national title in 2002, will join Woody Hayes and Paul Brown as the only Buckeyes coaches to appear in the Ring of Honor, which lines the C deck at the stadium. He will be the first person to be enshrined since 2014 when Ohio State recognized his former quarterback, Troy Smith, the 2006 Heisman Trophy winner. Tressel, of course, his placard will appear next to that of Hayes, who led Ohio State from 51 to 78. Kind of crazy. So he'll only be the third coach in the history of the program to be enshrined, in the Ring of Honor. And the question is, too, like, Urban's going to get there at some point, right? Will Urban be enshrined there? I would assume so. What I'm fascinated, like, if Ryan Day ended his coaching, if it came out today that Ryan Day, that he retires today, would Ryan Day, does he have a future up there in that Ring of Honor as a national championship winning head coach for the Buckeyes? I mean, I'd like to say yes. But does winning a national championship, does that guarantee you a spot up there? I mean, we're going to find that out. I mean, right? Like, I would assume so. I don't know. Like, I have a hard time believing that Urban will not join Tressel up there along with Hayes and Paul Brown at some point. But, man, I don't know. Like, as great as Ryan Day has been at Ohio State, and he's had his flaws, no doubt. But I've said this before. I think when you look at the national championship, I mean, I think that Tressel's championship win was more. I think that when you look at Jim Tressel, Ryan Day, Urban Meyer, all three of those coaches for Ohio State have one national championship each, leading the Scarlet and Gray. I think that Urban Meyer has the least impressive championship of all three of those coaches. I think that the team, the quality of team that Ohio State beat with Jim Tressel as the head coach when they beat Miami back in 2002, it was an NFL team on steroids. I mean, that Ohio State had to beat. Now we find out years later, Ohio State had quite the team as well. They just didn't have as notable names yet. Their names became big because they beat Miami, and a lot of those names did ultimately go on to play in the NFL. But I think that, slaying the beast that was the Hurricanes at that time, that was such, and it was a instant classic of a game. And then you have Urban Meyer's championship, where there was more controversy than anything with Urban's time in Columbus, especially with how he went out. But man, that, like I said, we talked about this in some capacity a few weeks ago. I said that Urban Meyer, his championship when they beat Oregon, meant so little that people don't even talk about beating Oregon. They just talk about who they beat to get to the Oregon game, and that was them beating Alabama, which was a big deal. Beating a Nick Saban team in the playoffs was a huge deal. Don't get me wrong. But all championships are a huge deal. Just some are a bigger deal and more impressive than others. To me, as impressive as Jim Tressel's championship was over Miami, as impressive of a championship run that Ohio State went on in 14 to ultimately beat Oregon, I still look at Ryan Day's national championship run as the most impressive run, and you could, say, well, yeah, he had the chance to play more teams in a deeper playoff than those others. But again, he didn't get to pick his path to get there. I still think it's the toughest championship path in the early stages of this playoff. Indiana's path was kind of deep as well, but ultimately having to beat Tennessee, having to beat Oregon, basically on the West Coast, a home game for them in the Rose Bowl, having to beat Texas in Texas, and then Notre Dame. I mean, those are all, Tennessee, maybe not so much, a good program, but but to beat Oregon, to beat Texas, to beat Notre Dame, all within a month's time frame, I think it was the most impressive. And then you add the fact that Ryan Day, when losing to Michigan for the fourth straight year, it had seemed that the seams had popped off. It looked like that program was about to fold. It looked as if that program was just about to eviscerate. And somehow he was able to unite that entire program to come together to fight for a national championship. They did not, at any point, Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, not at any single point did they look like the team that stepped on that field against Michigan a month prior. So Jim Tressel, I'm so happy for him that he's up there. I am curious about Urban's future. I think he ends up there as well. I think the big question mark is Ryan Day. If he retired today, would Ryan Day, do you think at some point, is Ryan Day going to join Tressel, Woody Hayes, and Paul Brown up there in the Ring of Honor? I think that Urban's going to be up there at some point, but will Ryan Day? 937-518-1410. You can text or call. Ryan Day's future. When I see what Jim Tressel did here, and I'm not saying only. Jim Tressel only won one national championship, but Urban only won one. Tressel only won one. Ryan Day has won one up to this point. And I still think Ryan Day gets another one. I thought he was about to make it back-to-back, going undefeated the way that they did last year. I thought that there was a chance that was going to be the case. It obviously ended up not being the case, but either way, we'll see what ultimately happens. But yeah, I was, fascinated by this. Happy for Jim Tressel that he's going to be inducted into the Buckeyes Ring of Honor. Only the third coach to be inducted and enshrined in the Buckeyes Ring of Honor, joining Woody Hayes and Paul Brown, and his name will appear up in the the Ring of Honor, which is over in that C deck portion of the stadium. He'll be the first person to be enshrined since 2014. So, again, it's Heisman winners, championship caliber coaches, and that type of thing. That is wild. It's been 12 years since the Ring of Honor. There's the Buckeye Hall of Fame class every year, but the Ring of Honor, that's an extra layer and a tougher thing to crack into, and Tressel will do that. But nonetheless, Jim Tressel, 73. Became lieutenant governor. This is the whole article and piece put out by Adam Rittenberg talking about, 73 years old, becoming the lieutenant governor of Ohio in early 2025. Only lost 23 times in his 9 seasons at Ohio State, 106-23 at Ohio State with 6 Big Ten titles and a 9-1 record against that team up north. His final win in 2010 was later vacated by the NCAA, which ties into all the stuff that we were talking about earlier. But either way, I'm Justin Kinner. It's the Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll be right back.
ABS, does that mean always bring snacks? TPMS, does that mean tiny potholes make squeaks? AWD, does that mean all wheels are dancing? No, that's not right. But here's the truth. Carroll Works Tire knows the real meanings and will keep your car safe without all the jargon. Carroll Works Tire, tires, service, and tire values you can count on. Find us online at c-wtire.com or talk to a real human at 937-461-5441.
Upgrade to a new quality bath remodel in less time with minimal inconvenience and for less money with Bath Creations in as little as 2 days. We do it right. There are a lot of others boasting about bath remodels these days. Well, Bath Creations' expert craftsmanship and customer service speaks for itself. Plus, all first responders, veterans, and active military will save an additional $500 off your purchase. Visit our beautiful showroom at 8741 North Kimmel Road in Clayton or at mybathcreations.com and upgrade your new bath today.
Describing the delicious flavor of Lee's new famous wrap is tough, but we figured we'd give it a shot.
Imagine crispy, golden, fried to perfection chicken, drizzled with bold, peppery, beautifully balanced famous sauce, resting on a plush bed of succulent lettuce and sprinkled with cheese. It's like ordering delicious with a side of exquisite.
In other words, it's awesome. The famous wrap with new famous sauce. Only at Lee's. Famous for a reason.
Meet Keith. He runs a 30-acre ranch. 8 years ago, his knees started giving out.
Climbing a ladder was almost impossible. If I could get down, I have to have something next to me to get up.
Keith's wife had a knee replacement. The recovery was hard and the results, not great. Keith wanted another way.
I won't go under the knife because I believe the body can do whatever it needs to do to heal itself.
Surgery wasn't the answer. QC Kinetics was. They're regenerative treatments. No surgery, no long recovery.
After the first one, the inflammation dropped 90%. Today, my knees are just amazing. I could not do what I've done if I had not gotten treatments to QC Kinetics. I just pray that my physical model continues to go and help other people.
Maybe that's you. Tired of dealing with the joint pain? Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
KTH Parts Industries in St. Paris is now hiring and has increased the hourly wage